talk about strategies for effective teams. So the good teams, and this is something, it's nothing new. Or you all know they are tailored to an environment. They have a trust. They are accountable. They are self-aware. They are small in number. They do sit together. They are self-organized. Have an adequate resources. Should be an enterprise aware. Should include more dedicated people. They should be close as much as possible, and they should follow common strategies, and they should stay together. So this is something, if you look at, is nothing new. We have been focusing. There are few things like enterprise aware and all, which are coming as an additional stuff, but the good team, good teams, as we knew, are sharing most of these characteristics. So we should have this stuff in our hand in order to make the discipline, the team work effectively. The concept of whole team is that it's a cross-functional team. The team should be cross-functional, and it should be able to collaborate with others and do work that needed to be done at any point of time. We talk about war room, we talk about co-located, we talk about common encaves. This is, you can give whatever name you want to, but it is something like we have the whole team working together. And team work together to deliver the work they have been committed to and deliver to the product and architectural owner at the beginning of each iteration. So it's like we still believe in cross-functional team. Now I just want to emphasize the definition of cross-functional, because many of us have a different interpretation of cross-functional. It is something to do with the group of team members. He can make any backlog item into done without taking help from external party. So whatever is needed to mark the item done, what all the skills needed to mark the item complete as per your definition of done, should be part of the team. So it's like, it should be cross-functional. And we talk about, when we talk about generalized specialists, it's like the people are T-skill, means they have some specialized skills which they are good in, and they have a many generalized skills which they can work with. So this is the strategy which we believe in. They should be working as a whole team. Now we talk about team organization strategies. So small teams, the definition of small teams is that 2 to 15 people in actual. We do accept that like 5 to 9 kind of stuff may not work in many cases. You have a bigger teams. So a small team will have team lead and architect owner, maybe played by the same guy. You have a product owner as a separate person, and then you have a team members, and they produce consumable software. You may have some supporting people from a secondary role. You may have an independent tester. You may have some technical experts and domain experts. Many times you see an organization, whatever name they want to give their process, they do have a shared system architect. And many of the Scrum implementation, you will see that they, in organization do keep some experts, some specialists, and they do intervene as and when needed. And as a Scrum also, it is allowed to call these experts in your sprint planning meeting, as a Scrum core process allows it. So in that, we explicitly recognize them that, okay, even in a small team, you may have these roles coming and helping people in order to produce consumable software. Then as things goes bigger, you have a team of 30 people or 10 to 30 people, then the specialist becomes part of the team. So the secondary roles becomes kind of, they start coming in, and the product owner remains a product owner. The technical architecture owner is usually a separate guy. So team lead role is somebody who just plays as the work which they have been doing. It's like a Scrum Master role. And this group of people produce a consumable software. So again, there could be a support people, technical expert, domain experts, and independent testers, which may come there. Now this may look like a scaled agile team. Now it is like when you have a medium-sized team, 20 to 50 people, we create sub-teams, and the collection of these sub-teams produces consumable software. So each sub-team will have team lead, product owner, architect owner, team members, specialist, and you can see 3 slices. So you have these kind of 3-4 sub teams, and they put together, they produce consumable solution, and you do have a supporting people who are working as a technical expert, domain expert, and others. So it's like, so till that time 50 people, you may not have a dedicated program management and coordination team. They are sub teams and they work with each other and support cast to do some level of support. But when you go beyond that, so you start touching 60, 70, 80 people, you come up with a kind of a safe kind of an organization. So I'm using the word safe because many of you are already familiar with, where you do have your DAD sub teams and common teams who serves these sub teams, who takes care of product delivery, program management, product management, architecture. So you can think of the project management, program management approach will have somebody at a program management, at a layer who takes care of that work. The requirement related stuff, the business analysis related stuff, the customer expectation management related stuff, you may have a group who takes care of that. We call them product management. And technological related stuff, we may have a leadership team who takes care of, who has a system architect, who work with architecture owners, who talk about creating a consumable solution. So as we go bigger, we start having collection of teams as a sub teams, and then we have a leadership group who binds them together. And these sub teams can be organized in a multiple ways. Now, when you talk about any scaling framework, we keep talking about feature teams, component teams. So feature teams, like one of the DAD sub team, if can commit to a one feature, which is end to end from customer requirement to customer delivery, it can go forward and deliver a consumable a solution. So it's like one feature team delivers the complete feature. Then we can have a component teams. Component teams are not delivering features. They are kind of a team where they have a high reusability. So you may have an authentication component, you may have a payment API, you may have a stock exchange interface API, and these are the components who serves multiple features. So you may end up having some component teams, especially when you have a high reusability. Sometime when you are maintaining enterprise assets, you may have an internal open source team. So it is like a team who takes an approach of open source, who maintain the code. Anybody can take out the code, suggest an customization, suggest an improvement, and these teams will look at it. If they like it, they will accept it, or they reject it. The way the open source community work, and that could be another way of organizing these teams. So as of now, we are just talking about organizing them. We are not getting into the ceremonies and doing development. I see one question coming from what kind of ceremonies we can have. So we can take a framework or a hybrid approach for those ceremonies, but here we can thinking that this is how we can group the people together. Now there could be co-located team, the one which we like. Then we can have a distributed team, multiple teams working from distributed sub-teams. Means there are different sub-teams who are from a different geography working. We can have a partially dispersed team where we have a group of individuals centralized at one location, but there are few individuals who are working from different locations. It's a partially dispersed team. Then we can have a fully dispersed team where nobody is together. You can think of people are remote working, everybody is working from home, and they are compiling their code together and distributing and delivering things. So these could be the possible structure. Now, which structure is good? It depends upon the context. So we do recognize that these are the possible way the teams could be geographically distributed.